Hello guys, in this presentation I'm going to try and explain a little bit of how the exam works, because I think that will help you to understand what you need to do in the exam room. The examiners are basically trying to discover what kind of level of skills you have in analysing poetry. It's really difficult sometimes to know what to revise for an English exam, and that's because it really isn't a memory test. You shouldn't ever think of an English exam as being a memory test. There are things you need to memorise, and there are things that you need to go over, but just remembering those things doesn't earn you anything. That's what you have to do so that you can actually do the exam. Memorising things isn't that desperately important because your anthology will be full of annotations. I mean, you think about it, you can't test a carpenter's ability to work as a carpenter by asking him to identify a saw. It's not really whether you know what your tools are, it's what you do with them. Even revising things like the definitions of the different features of poetry are not really that important. You need to know what those features of poetry are so that you can use them in the exam. It's not a memory test. On the plus side, the questions in the exam are very, very predictable. The examiners want to give you an opportunity to show what you're capable of. In fact, it's easy to say what the question's going to be. Have a look at the example questions you've been given. The pattern is very, very obvious. In case you've forgotten, this is what the questions in the exam tend to look like. They'll just say something about poetry, and they'll focus on one of those big, all-encompassing areas like theme or imagery or tone. The only real difference between the questions is whether they give you a specific poem to write about, or whether you get to choose both. They're all comparison and contrast questions. So really, the way that you'll write your plan is fairly obvious. You'll have to do a table with two sides to it. The only reason why they give you so much flexibility is because they don't want people to go in like robots with memorized answers. You need to be able to come up with something specific on the day. And it's no good thinking that you can just jot down everything that you've got written in your anthology. But you do need annotations in that anthology. In the next film, I'll be showing you how to set out your ideas in a comparative essay.